There have been a lot of changes since last we spoke. So if you're a buyer or a seller, we'll cover off what's happening to market, the Freehold and Leasehold Reform Bill, and the snap election, which apparently, rumour has it, was called so that the Reform Party wouldn't have their act together in time for the election. So that remains to be seen. So we came out of the recession officially on May the 22nd. Inflation's down to 2.3%, not quite at the Bank of England's target of 2%. Wage inflation is still stubbornly high, so it's unlikely the base rate's going to come down till September. And I think, in fairness, the Bank of England are unlikely to do anything till then, because it would probably be seen as political tinkering to adjust anything during a period of an election. A lot of people have been sitting on their hands with respect to interest rates, probably more than the fact that there is a general election, I feel. How are you finding it in the marketplace at the moment, Steve?
Yeah, it's all very true, and actually, so a couple of things to cover off there. Actually, the conversations that I'm having with vendors and buyers at the moment are definitely mirroring that sort of sentiment. It's not so much the election. Obviously, we'll wait to see what happens in early July, but it's sort of widely expected that we are going to have a change of a party, change of government, and change isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can be sort of good, but people are just waiting, I think, sort of sitting on their hands at the moment for the interest rates. We know they're coming down. It's a given, I would say, and people are just waiting for that to happen.
Having said that, it does appear there is a blip at the moment. We've got staggeringly good volume this month, quite exceptional, although it is a lot quieter in the office and a lot quieter in the marketplace. Some of those figures you were telling me were quite astonishing.
It's incredibly efficient at the moment. So the inquiries aren't coming in the levels that I would expect at this time of year, but the quality of the inquiry, the quality of the viewer is as good as I've probably ever seen it. So what's also quite important, although there's this bit of a lull, there is actually confidence and stability in the market, which is quite refreshing. Having sort of had the last few years that we've not really had stability for a while. And there's a lot of people that need to move and want to move. They've got the money, they've been saving up, and they want to move on with sort of the next chapter of their life.
Yeah, I feel there's a real pent-up demand. I mean, really stemming from last year, which was dreadful, and really for the last couple of years, in fact. So I think maybe with a bit of a Starmer bounce, maybe, who knows, we could see a very strong end to the year, in fact. But across the board, a quite difficult market at the moment. Flats particularly, you've got some interesting facts on that, I think, Steve.
Yeah, flats are hard, and it's weird. There's sort of certain pockets that are performing better than others. We've actually had quite a good run with one-bedrooms in the market, so not just within our office, but across all agents in our whole area. One bedroom seems to be the sweet point is between sort of 300 and 400,000, particularly 350 to 400,000. I think 40% of all of the sales of one bedrooms have been in that price point. That seems to be doing well. I
think you was saying that there are a large number of flats, leasehold flats, on the market at the moment.
There are. So actually,
and the conversion rate is not
it's
where
not
you'd want it to be.
It's not brilliant. So yeah, just to give you some context to that, in total for the month of May, so looking at the entire month, 727 flats on the market in our postcodes and 96 sales, which doesn't sort of fill everyone with confidence.
Right.
But actually, north of 500,000 does seem to be a bit more challenging. In total, there's 196 flats above 500 and just 20 sales, so 10%.
Right. Okay.
So it is quite tricky.
A few green shoots on the housing market, though, I think.
Housing market, yeah. I mean, the real sweet spot is kind of the sort of entry level, 600 to 800,000.
Yeah,
is
very
definitely
nice range.
the most successful.
That's flying out.
41% of all of the sales for houses were in that price point. And actually, I think it's 30% of all of the available stock falls into that price range, and it was 42% of the sales. So that does seem to be quite useful. The upper end of the market is still quite tricky. Sort of north of 2 million is hard, although we've had I think 3 or 4 sales there in recent weeks. Which
I saw those. And
yeah,
very
really
nice
encouraging.
ones too.
But yeah, again, just to give some context to that, so there's been 63 available properties of 2 million and upwards since the 1st of January, 38 of which have been new to the market, and 14 sales.
Okay.
Of which, actually, quite proudly, we've done 5 of those 14, so 35% of all sales
very
over
good,
2.
Steve.
And actually, we've only had 10% of the available properties, so actually, we've done really well in that price point for the houses that we've had.
Very good. I suppose the other piece of news is the Leasehold and Freehold Reform Bill, which has gone through. And I'll just whiz through a few of the important points relating to that. Abolition of ground rent for new leases, that's in fact been in place since 22. Simplification of the process. Common hold revival is being encouraged. Elimination of marriage value, that's quite a long subject in itself, so I won't go into that. Increase in transparency and fairness. Cap on ground rent for existing leases. You'll no longer need to live in a property for 2 years before you can start the lease extension process. More transparency on service charges. Ban on managing agents bumping up the cost of insurance by taking big commissions, so that's all good. No cap on existing ground rents, and illegal to charge ground rents on new leases. Few interesting facts, actually, just to finish up on. Highest base rate ever was 17%. The average base rate over the last 50 years was 9.1%. If you are looking to borrow, this kind of affects everything. Over the last 100 years, the average base rate has been 8.3%. Property prices double on average every 10 years, so property is a good investment. And if you invested in a house in the 50s, you would have made 13,972% return on your investment, as opposed to 101,987% on the FTSE 30. Mind you, the average salary in the 50s was £500 per annum, so buying a house was no easy thing back then. Steve, thank you very much.
Very welcome, thank you.